All right, the Drill Beach Recreation Commission meeting Tuesday, April 8th is called to order. And roll call, I guess.
Mrs. Shepherd, Mrs. Dineno, Miss Jones,
Here.
Mr. Holton,
Here.
Mrs. Burdick,
Here.
Mrs. Reddy,
Here.
and Chairman Yem.
Here. All right, next thing, approval of minutes for the March 11th meeting. Anybody have any yay or nay? Reviewed the minutes? All right, need a motion for approval.
I approve.
You approve? Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Citizen input. What do you have? You want to talk to us? It's your one chance. Like you said, you're on TV and whatever you want to do. It's your chance to make a difference. Okay, then new business.
We have a gentleman who's supposed to be here named Eric Swenson. He's not, and he had a proposal for you guys to take a look at. I would recommend that that be tabled unless he is able to come after we talk about old business. That'd be my recommendation.
Okay.
I move we table it until either he shows up or till the next meeting.
I agree. Second.
Okay. It's approved. Old business.
Just to let you know, what I did there was we had at our last meeting there were some concerns regarding some of the rates for Leisure Square and with the gymnastics program and trying to tie it all together. So what we did was I met with Jeff to go through those Leisure Square rates and also Patty and Angie on those gymnastics rates. And we've made some alterations. One of the considerations and thoughts was that maybe the proposed new fees were a lot higher than what we had done across the board, and maybe to be a lot more consistent going with lowering those rates a little bit. And Jeff and I went through each of those specifically with the guest fees and the membership fees, and really brought those numbers down some to make them understandably less of an impact on participants.
Do you have a new chart of those reflecting those fees?
Well, it would be, did you guys all receive these back again?
Yeah.
Page 7, and I put them in red. Page 7 and page 9 were basically the ones that were the highlight from the last meeting that were in discussion.
All right, is there any more discussion on these?
I know I sent you my comments about the rates. And
Yep.
So I'm sorry, what did the gym and pool annual membership go to? What was the percentage of increase?
What we're looking
That
at
was
for
my
the
biggest concern.
yeah, because when you were concerns were that it would gone in some cases 30 or 40%
Right,
increase.
but this one had gone up 53%.
Right, and now we have taken them down to a much more reasonable 10 to 15%, maybe 20% max. And in those cases, what we did was when we look at some of the membership, specifically with the city gym and pool, we had it where, for instance, you had a monthly rate of 20, and I think we had proposed like 30 or something like that, and we brought it down to 23, from 20 to 23, and same thing on the 25 to 28, if you're looking at the membership county, gym and pool. Even the gym and pool for the semi-annual, because you're talking about an entire membership pretty much there. So we had 80, and I know that the number we had on the right-hand side was 120, that kind of thing. So that's a 50% increase. And after Jeff and I talked about it, increasing by a much less amount would probably be more effective, not only for membership to be retained, but also something that keeps it fairly inexpensive for the participants to have. One other thing that was brought up, I have to bring this up just because I remember the last meeting when it was discussed was the concern about even raising the rates for the senior size. Remember, we had that discussion, kind of a longer discussion. And I will let you know that one of the things that we had done with our changes from the last budget was to go with, if you use the AM aerobics 10 times after you've done the 10th, on the 11th you give us the card, that's your free one. Well, we used to have it where we would give you 2 of those, okay? But last time after going through our budget, we went to just 1 time, so you get 1. I heard
Excellent.
about that. I have a formal, complaint regarding that. I had one walk up to me and tell me that, just for changing it from 12 to 11.
Can't make all
No,
the
we
people
can't make
happy
them all,
the
but
time.
that's, but the biggest key was, I think, when we weighed out everything and looked at it and tried to make it much more reasonable. One of the other things I know that was brought up, Lynn, is something that we're going to be looking at through the budget process is extension of hours, things like that. Those are things that we can, look at for the future, for next year's budget.
And when do you have to have that budget in?
We're going to have
proposed
that
budget?
due early in June. And we meet with the city manager in about the second week in June, like the 9th or 10th or somewhere in there. So we're going to be, we're going to be looking at all those things, and we'll also be putting what the cost side is with those different, if we extend hours at certain facilities, what the amount would be to have that happen. And we will also do that with the lifeguards, and we'll also do that with even Riverside Tennis, Leisure Square, pool, all of them. We're going to break them all out into subcategories just to show if we can increase this amount, this is what the cost will be. This is what we hope to bring back in revenue, et cetera, that kind of thing.
That's good. Just so everybody knows here that Leisure Square is only open 5 hours on the weekends. And it's a family facility. And that to me does not equate family facility to being open 5 hours on the weekends. Friday afternoon, Friday night it's closed. Saturday afternoon, Saturday night it's closed, and Sunday the pool is closed. And the gym facilities are only open from what time on
8 to 1,
Sunday?
8 to 1, and
1.
12 to 3.
So for 5 hours, for the pool, and it's just, I think that really needs to be looked at. Not that we can extend those hours, but also try to generate some revenue to pay for those hours being extended.
Okay.
Is that going to change in the summer? No?
All right, what do we need on
The only
these?
thing is, I think we'll extend 1 hour. No, I'm wrong. We'll extend an hour on Saturdays.
All right, what do we need
Programming.
to adopt? What are you looking for?
Basically, if you're okay with the rates with the new, because you pretty much were good with all the other ones, if you guys were good with the rates with the new adjustment, then, yeah, then just say, yeah, you're good
So
with it.
you just
We're gonna
changed
send it
2?
forward.
Is that what you said from this
Right.
proposal?
If you guys are good with the changes that we made here and with the changes that we had from the first one, you just say we're good to go, and then we'll send it on to the council for their approval.
I only have one more comment. Bobby had brought up at the last meeting about doing an across-the-board rate increase.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've ever done the numbers on that. That it might be, like I wrote in my letter, I really don't understand the methodology on how you raise the rates. Lowered the rates, raised the rates, and, I just wonder if that's worth playing with those numbers a couple different ways.
Some of it is supply and demand, isn't it?
Correct. That's your big issue with supply and demand. There are areas where you can, there are areas where you
Right. I
can't. And that's
understand
the
that.
thing we have to weigh, and that's part of the big part of the rates and everything else. We have found, and the other thing you got to remember, we also had raised rates here just 2 or 3 years ago as well. So it's a balancing act. The overall goal, as I said before, is to try and generate 8 to 12%. I will tell you, I would be very happy if we can get that goal. It's always a challenge when you go to increase fees. It always is. And like I said, even when it comes to something as simple as getting one more free pass, they could leave you.
All right, so what
It's
we
just-
need
that's
now
a
is a motion
challenge.
to adopt this to move it forward. Right?
That's right.
I move that we adopt the amended budget,
I'll second.
Rates,
second.
amended rates.
amended rates, excuse me.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Any public comments? Seeing as how none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that takes care of that. And then,
There's someone looking in the window. I don't know if it's your gentleman or not. He keeps looking at
What color hair do you have, blonde?
dark.
Not sure.
okay, Lynn, you said you had questions for the city manager.
Hi, Jim.
Good afternoon.
Slip him in here.
I just have a couple questions. I wondered what was going on with the beach umbrella rental.
We have awarded that contract, and he is in the process of getting his equipment together. Rob will be sort of our point man on that to make sure he goes to the one end of the beach that we have discussed.
Which end of the beach is
Be
that?
the
North side.
north side.
And that went to Scott.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is a contract for how long?
Well, it has a 30-day separation. We can give 30-day notice, but it's a 5-year contract. But when you give a 30-day notice, it's not really a 5-year contract. But he was at the last council meeting.
Okay, and that's just for one beach,
That is correct, only for South Beach.
only for South Beach?
And in
okay.
the location that we choose for him to locate.
And he will be giving the city a percentage of his income?
That is correct,
And what percentage is that?
10%.
10%?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is no base rental, it's all percentage.
When you said city, does it go to the rec? Or,
But yes, it goes to the recreation.
okay.
The recreation department's still an enterprise fund, so any fees that you generate go toward revenues as a recreation department. Similar to fees on water, sewer, electric, and that kind of stuff.
My other question was, several months ago, we made a motion to the city council that the Recreation Commission would be able to make a recommendation regarding the usage of all the parks. And I don't believe that it ever came back to the Recreation Commission regarding the lease on the dog park. I mean, I think that just kind of flew by this group here.
Yes, we can bring that lease back, Rob, if you can, we can get a
Is it
copy of this.
completed now?
Yes, it is. The
Okay.
lease is signed, sealed, and the dog operation is in full operation there. They have the responsibility. As a matter of fact, we're rescinding the ordinance that allowed for dogs to run at large there before. I think it was a resolution, not an ordinance, but we had it in there for that 5 in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning or something. So all that's being rescinded, and it'll be dictated by the lease, covenants of the lease.
I guess I wanted to just bring it up that was never brought before this commission.
Okay.
And that was disappointing to me, that we had made a point of asking that those things, that we be able to weigh in with a recommendation, and it never came through here.
Okay. And we can get everybody a copy of the lease. Anything else?
Oh, that's all, thank you.
Okay. You will be seeing the site plan if they submit a site plan for the dog park. It'll go through you all and the Marine Commission before it goes to the City Council. And it also goes to the P&Z Board.
Is there a deadline on when that has to be finished, the beautification of that park?
No, there's not.
No.
So that could actually never take place.
That is correct.
It's going to happen, though.
I think it's
We
a
were
function.
pretty confident it's going to happen.
It's a function of raising money, and we were told up until the lease was signed, they would not be able to raise money, but they had several large donors who were ready to step forward once they had a lease and they had the right to use the property.
Is there a reason you didn't put a time limit in there for the beautification to begin?
No, because I think, and you all have taken a position on this before, is that we're not really crazy about structures being in parks anyway, so there'd be no reason to rush them to build something on the park.
You anticipate they want to build something?
Well, it's not going to be a building per se, but I'm sure the plan was fencing at one time. They had to maintain gates for us, and I think they wanted some type of coverage. Weren't they talking about
Trees or landscape,
landscaping and those type of things to go in the park?
possibly even a cover, like a cover shape.
Cover similar to what we put in the
Humiston.
J.C. Park.
I got a question on Bob Summers. Because up until a couple of weeks ago, there were tarps over the pitcher's mound and home plate.
Mhm.
And I think somebody has taken them. Are you aware of that?
They were taking care of them.
They were taken, somebody removed them is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, that's a possibility. You could have had like Joe DeSteven, who was the president, and maybe his tarps, and now that they're
Okay.
no longer junior senior league.
So they weren't city tarps, they were.
Yeah, I don't know, it was just the day I looked at it or whatever.
Yeah, no. I was going to say, really, city equipment, the only equipment that's really the cities from those fields per se are really pretty much the fencing, the bleachers, the lights, and the scoreboard, and then maybe a sound system inside of it.
What's the story on the lights? Did you guys ever come to a conclusion?
It's all work in progress.
It's still a work in progress. The question is that if they transferred, it wouldn't be the baseball people who would actually get ownership. It would be the county because they have to locate it on county facilities. And the county's evaluating if it's worth the asset to be located on their site.
Another expense.
And it's operation and maintenance because it would be theirs. And
Jim, do they have the ability to put a permanent structure up on that in the dog exercise park area? I mean, is that part of the lease?
You know, a permanent structure could be a covered picnic area. The answer is yes, they could. I can't envision somebody building a building per se, but yes, those type of structures, and I would not, there's probably some thought process going for that because they talked about having some type of chairs and sort of a meeting area on the site for dogs. So that's that type of structure when we talk about structure. And then that site plan would have to reveal all of that information.
But the city would have final say if they put a
Absolutely.
structure up.
Yes,
Okay.
It is a review of site plan, and nothing can go on without approval of the city. And that's in the lease.
Thank you.
All right, Rob, your questions. Or your matters.
My matters. The only thing is we have the Easter egg hunt this Saturday over at Mulligan's. It's going to start at 10 a.m. and we expect it to be a really good draw.
Yeah, you want to say anything about Mulligan's?
Yeah, we're very excited to have an Easter egg hunt again this year.
5,000
thank 'em
eggs.
enough.
How many eggs?
Right now we have 3,200 eggs.
It's a great time out there. We look forward to it.
Yep. And we have Frisbees too, I might add.
Yes, we have lots of Frisbees.
Found some.
You did find some more?
We found them.
Now we have even more.
Have you seen the Frisbees that glow?
No,
I don't think they glow.
these don't glow.
They
These are
have
just mulligans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen them. Played with them.
Yeah, I got some.
We're
Yeah,
just
they're neat
giving
at
away
night.
more prizes for kids. Lots of
I don't know if you'd
mulligans.
seen them. Okay, that's all. Chairman's matters, I have nothing. Members' matters. Let's start down there, Angie.
Sorry I was late. It was road construction. Our road was closed. I got nothing.
Oh, don't forget Hibiscus Festival this
Saturday.
and
All day.
Congratulations to Patty Howard on her baby.
Baby girl.
Right.
Piper.
Lynn?
Rob, I just wanted to ask a question. I don't know, we might be doing this now, but if a organization calls that's not on city property, can we rent out our lifeguards? I noticed that some of the lifeguards are going to some of the different communities and working in the springtime in season. And I wondered if this was a potential for the city to make some money by having our lifeguards, go out to some of these different places. You're probably going to say it's a liability
That's a
issue.
risk factor that I don't think the city
I don't
wants any
even
part
mind the
of.
liability,
Right.
but the issue is you never make money at that. It's sort of like we have our police officers, and in order to maintain their certification, it has to pass through the city. But trust me, by the time you get through all of the paperwork
amount.
and the liability and all that other stuff, you don't make any
Insurances.
money at that. So it's
Okay.
Could be cost prohibitive. The other thing I was going to say too is that, the primary function with our guards should be the city.
I know that some of them are looking for more hours, that's all.
Well, what they do on their own time,
That's
It's their
clearly up to
business.
them and their
Yeah.
businesses.
All right, next meeting, had a partial discussion about whether to invite, we're going to go into the budget process here. So typically, we begin by inviting staff members in. Do we want to go through that exercise?
We can do that. I mean, I don't see why not. I know that, like I had mentioned before, this is going to be the time where they're going to throw out ideas of things they'd like to see and then things that are really maybe futuristic things. And I think you're going to have I think this time you're going to get two different approaches from them.
Can we
in
get
other
those
words.
numbers in advance of them coming and sitting in here?
Sure.
Because that's just become such a
Sure.
long process. If we
Sure.
can get those a week or two early, and
Sure.
then we can review them and we can have our questions ready rather than having it.
Sure. For all
Thank
their
you.
list, I'm good with that. I kind of like that. I'd like for them to get that list for you guys.
All right,
I
what
like
else
that.
what else are you thinking to be on that agenda?
I think I'm hoping that something happened with Eric that kept him from coming. I don't know what it was.
Was he talking about a driving range again, or what?
Yes.
in the same location as before.
Yes.
I'm going to suggest he not be allowed to move forward with this till he comes before this committee.
Well, that's what I'm
commission,
saying.
though.
I think that would be the idea, would be for him to come back through you guys. Absolutely. Yes. He wasn't able to, for some reason, he didn't come today, and I know that he was eager to come and see you guys, so I'm guessing something happened.
All right, any other business? Seeing as how none, we're adjourned.